Hey my friends, today we are reviewing the LEGO Star Wars Complete Saga, which is available on various gaming platforms. And as you can see here, I'm going to tell you the pros and cons from parents' perspective as we work through the LEGO Complete Saga. And let me just go into some other things here first as we start to talk about it. So this is a video game that is very highly rated. It's rated for 10 plus. It's available on the Wii, PlayStation, Xbox, etc., even on your PC. And nowadays you can get it for a pretty low cost. So that's definitely a very positive thing right now. Certainly it's worth every bit of the $14.99. And you can go on Amazon and look at your own customer reviews right here. But I'm going to give you just our perspective in having played the game. We will give again both the positives and the negatives. First of all, one of the main positive is the fact that you can play all of the characters, even many more than you see here. There's over 120 characters that you can play. That's both on the good side and the bad side. So if you want to play General Grievous or the Emperor or certainly Darth Vader, you can do that, even Yoda. And that's a very positive. It also has all of the levels. So that's episodes 1 through 6. That's why it's obviously called the Complete Saga. But keep in mind, from my understanding, at least on the Wii version that we have, you can't play all of the characters until you unlock them, okay, either by playing the game itself or by using various cheat codes. And what I mean by that is you probably are familiar with the fact that there's various websites such as this one here where you can get various cheat codes that you may have to use, and that would allow you to unlock certain characters. This is just an example of some of them here. We happen to like this particular website. It's very helpful for us. So that's kind of a con. You just can't go in, not that I know how to, and play every character again unless you unlock them. When I say the Complete Saga, that's a very good thing, and as you work through this game, this is a game where in order to play each of the different episodes, in other words from the movies, you have certain objectives that you have to do. And those levels are very long, and it took us about 40 to 50 hours to complete the entire game, which is certainly a positive because it gives you a lot of gameplay. But the negative is that the levels themselves, each episode has 5 or 6 levels within it. The levels are pretty long, and you can't save midstream. So if you don't complete a level and all of the objectives involved, you have to go back and start over. On a positive perspective, the moves and such that you get to do are really cool. In other words, you can use Luke, he can use the Force, he can use his lightsaber. And I have a 4-year-old, and my 4-year-old was very easily able to learn the moves. Now you're going to use both if you're using the Wii, you're using the nunchuck as well as the regular controller, because there's about 4 or 5 buttons you have to be able to press. But my 4-year-old picked them up very easily. He was learning all the moves relatively simple. And I will tell you that as we went through the game, it was ultimately my 4-year-old that did the following. He destroyed the Death Star, he ended up beating Darth Vader, and he also ended up beating the Emperor in the end as well too. So that was pretty cool. At the same time, though, this is a game that is not a game that you just turn on and start to play. Now, there is a free play mode that after you unlock the characters, you can just do whatever you want, but it's really more of an objective-based game as you work through the game. And what I mean by that is each episode, let's just click on this episode number 2, in order to move through the different chapters, this is chapter 1, you have to go through each of these different areas that I'm showing you on the screen. So chapter 1 has 5 areas here, and each area has certain objectives that you have to do. So here you have to do what it says in this particular guide in order to get through to area number 2. Now, there's no way on God's green earth that my 4-year-old could have figured out the things that needed to be done. And frankly, I couldn't have figured them out on my own, because there's really not that I could find any helpful hints of any substance in the game itself, and nor is the directions very clear at all. You pretty much, in my opinion, have to have one of these cheat guides, these walkthrough guides to get through, or you can go on YouTube, and for each episode, there's people that have done videos about them. Those are sometimes helpful when you get stuck. So keep that in mind. It is not something, I don't even know if a 10-year-old could figure it out on their own. Maybe nowadays they can, but I needed the cheat guide to help me, and I'm not afraid to admit it. As I said before, one of the positives, obviously, the low cost. You can't beat the fact that you can get 50 hours of gameplay for $15 and then some. The story scenes, as we go through, let me kind of take you back here a second. Where are we at? And as you go through, each of the episodes has different story scenes that you will see that move the story along before the game starts and then after you complete a level as well too. Here's an example of a story scene so that you can kind of see what's happening as we move forward here. You can see an example of both the gameplay as well as the story scene. And again, you can play all through all the episodes. It's kind of cool because they have the infamous Lego humor, as we get an example there to see whenever they're doing something. There's a lot of bonus items, and it's just a really fun game to play. But on some of the negatives, I will tell you that, as we just saw right there, when you're playing these games where you have to, each of the episodes, you have to play some sort of a flying game, whether you're playing the pod race in episode 1 or whether you are, flying to do battle against the Death Star, which, let me show you an example of that right here. Here where you're flying. These scenes, these are very difficult and also very tedious. When you're first going through episode 1, if you follow 1 through 6 and you're having to do that pod race that I was just showing you, you can't figure out what the heck you have to do. You pretty much need to have one of these walkthrough guides to get through it, because you'll keep losing every time and you won't know why. Even when you're using a cheat code, it's kind of hard, or a cheat mission, it's trying to guide, it's kind of hard to figure it out what you have to do. And we had to watch YouTube to really figure it out, and it is rather tedious. But it's not a reason to not buy the game. Just, I want you to be aware of that. When you get to these scenes right here, it's not very fun. Also, you want to be aware that there's only one viewing angle, at least on the Wii, and you can't change it. And so if the viewing angle is inconvenient, you're going to just kind of have to work through it, because you can't actually change the way the camera is positioned on you. So you want to be aware of that as well too. I also do want to point out for parents that this game, the objective of the game pretty much is to destroy everything in sight, and while there is no blood and guts, you are doing battle with enemies in this case, and so there is certainly violence involved, and that is one of the reasons why the game is certainly rated 10 and up. So you want to be aware of those things. All in all, the bottom line is, I would agree that the vast majority of views are positive, and that is for a reason. It's a quality game with a lot of hours of gameplay for a very low cost, and ultimately it takes you through the entire Star Wars saga. And we had a great time playing it, and we still enjoy playing it. The fact that you can use your lightsaber, play all of the characters, there's really no substitute for that. So if you're a Star Wars fan, I think you really will enjoy this game, and I would certainly give it a thumbs up. So that's Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga. Let us know what you think. Please add a comment in the comment section below. If we said something that's incorrect, please let us know. Till next time, talk to you later.